Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm David Bell, and as always, I'm joined here with my co-host this evening, Mr. Nick Looby. Now, we're doing a late night shout out because tomorrow we have the late night show, the Looby and Bell show. This is our second in the series of our late night events, and we start at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, streaming all over the world. So you can sit in the comfort of your own home, maybe just after dinner, relaxing with a glass of wine, maybe something else, a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever it is that takes your fancy, and listen to some great stories. Now, it's all about what happens once businesses go home. What happens when you get home? Do you put your feet up? Do you watch a bit of EastEnders? Do you read a book? Do you play with the family? Take the children to the park, if it's not raining like it is this evening? Or do you just kind of sit back down, get your laptop out and carry on working? We'd love to know what you get up to when you go home. But what we want to do is we want to share the stories of other great people on their journey and, some of the things that they face, when they get home in that evening. How many of you cook a dinner? How many of you are using, the boxes that get delivered to your front door? I don't know. It's different for everybody. And we're going to be looking into the journeys and find out more about everybody else. It's a good evening, Nick. Welcome. It looks like you're in sunny Cape Town there this evening, still light, which is fantastic. So we've got a really exciting show, but with quite a serious story and message to it tomorrow evening.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we definitely need to have conversations about. In fact, we need to have more conversations about, and it's an ideal format. Right? That big question: what happens when business goes home? Right, when you drop the cloak of kind of corporate life, what's going on? Right? What's going on in your world? And quite often, we don't get to see that, right? We, as business owners, we get to see the networking face. We get to see the corporate identity. How's business? Yeah, it's great, really busy. We don't get to get a proper glimpse behind the scenes. And the Chatbox late night show is all about that. What's going on? What's going on in your world? And absolutely right, David. This week, an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be able to talk about stuff that it doesn't get more important, I don't think.
And it's something that most of us don't know about, probably don't know enough about. You and I, Nick, were talking about this, where would we turn? When is the right time to talk to somebody? And I think this is really important. So I saw this message come up on one of my friends on social media the other day, and I reached out to him and said, look, I think we need to, if you want to, tell your story so others can learn from it, understand it, and hopefully be in a position that they know where to turn, that conversation to have at the right time. So we're going to be welcoming on the show tomorrow, Darren Smith. Both Nick and I have known Darren for quite a few years. In fact, Nick, in a previous role that Darren did, your wife bought an electric vehicle from him. And he's been a very number of networking events that we've been involved with. And do you know what? I never knew. And embarrassingly, I never knew the situation he was in. And the post, I'm going to pop on the screen. He's happy for us to share this, of course. But the post is, here it is. Darren Smith, all about Suicide Prevention Day. And he, 29th of October, 2020, failed suicide, sectioned, first night in hospital on 2 hourly checks, end up spending 6 weeks in 2 hospitals. That was last year. This year, 4th of September, off to football with my son, back working in finance and volunteering with Andy's Man Club in Southend-on-Sea. So we're going to hear from Darren tomorrow. And we're going to find out more about what happened, because this wasn't something that just cropped up last year. In his words, it's been going on for at least 10 years, but no one ever knew. And we're going to find out how he felt, the things that potentially caused this in his eyes, what he did, who he reached out to, when was the right time, could he have done anything differently, and how, or maybe what little support he had around him. But now he's supporting the Andy's Man Club, which is really important. He's going to talk more about that and the support that is out there throughout the whole of the UK that is there for when people do need it.
Massively courageous, right? To speak openly about stuff that is causing you massive grief. right? And hugely valuable. I can't thank the man enough, right, to be ready to kind of talk it through, right, and share and take questions from our lovely audience. And audience, just get in touch, right? This is something that, okay, we're starting to talk about it a bit more. You know, we're more aware. Nowhere near enough. All right, no, this particular story, no idea, mate. Why would we know, right? Because we're not asking the right questions. Clearly, right? I kick myself, okay, for not being totally unaware. So, audience, let us know what's going on with you. Are you in a similar position to Darren? Are you able to talk about it? Are you able to ask the right questions of your mates and your colleagues? Are you more aware than I am? So much to learn, right? And so important that we have these conversations on a regular basis. And what a lovely opportunity for our, on the chat show to just spark those really important conversations.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as Nick said, if you want to reach out to us, you can message us. You can reach us via email. By doing that, you can just email hello@chatboxproductions.com. You can go to the website, www.chatboxproductions.com, where you can actually fill in the form and potentially come on the show as well. We'd encourage you, if you want to, come and join us in the studio tomorrow. We would welcome you to come on and maybe, share your stories of what's been happening and stuff like that. I think it's a really, really important subject, which to a degree is slightly taboo. We do kind of sometimes forget about it, bury our heads in the sands, ignore it maybe. Maybe we're too busy and involved with other things in our lives not to notice it. And I just think, Darren coming on here, very courageous, as you said, Nick, very, very brave. But his story is going to probably be an emotional story for him to share with us. But I'm really hoping it will help someone else out there as well. And it will encourage them maybe to reach out and speak to somebody. Laura Northeast, nice to hear a positive outcome from someone with mental health problems. Yeah, absolutely, Laura. The good news is he is back in a really good place. He's going to come and join us tomorrow night and share his story. So do join us tomorrow night, and you'll hear the whole part of that journey. Yeah, it's going to be a great one, Nick, in a way that we're going to learn something and encourage others.
Yeah, it's a sort of conversation that we wouldn't have on the breakfast show, right? So this was the whole reason we launched the late night show, was what kind of conversations could you have outside of the business environment? Be them fun, be them hobby style, be them all sorts of other things, and most importantly, what about the tough stuff? Let's not be too kind of generalized here, but us blokes tend to not talk about. All right, we're probably not very good at talking about this sort of stuff. One of the questions for Darren tomorrow, right, is this a blokes thing? Right? Are we just crap at talking about the stuff that really matters, or are we getting there? And no doubt he'll shine light on that and help us to understand the sorts of questions, sorts of conversations we should be having.
And I think the other, last thing I'm going to leave it with really is that we don't know really what's going on in someone's world behind closed doors. I've known Darren for quite a few years now, and I never had a single clue or idea. And that's a really worrying thing, because I'm sure he wasn't hiding it. It was more, I didn't notice it, and maybe others didn't notice it either. So what are those symptoms? What should we be looking for? How can we notice? How do we become more aware of what's happening around us? I don't know. We'll find out hopefully some answers tomorrow and be a little bit wiser. So if you do want to come on the show, and maybe you can help and come from it from a different angle, then please do. We'd love to have you on here and to explore your opinion, because it does matter.
Yeah, let's start the conversation. And let's be guided by someone who knows a lot more about it than you and I.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go, guys. So this is just a shout out. We look forward to seeing you all here 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. That's Wednesday the 15th. And what we're going to do is we're going to be streaming live, as always, to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
YouTube,
LinkedIn,
my friend, YouTube.
So do give us a thumbs up, do give us a like, do subscribe to all of those channels, whatever your preferred one is. And we look forward to seeing you here tomorrow evening.
Absolutely. Bring it on. And thank you very much indeed, Laura, for passing comment and entering your thoughts into the chat box. Makes the whole experience more interactive and far more valuable for everyone. Thank you very much.
Until then, good night. Stay safe.